Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we'll begin shortly. Okay. Thank you for coming. My name is Jeremy Dane Ferguson, and I have with me Ms. Satiana Ferguson. We're both from MITS Applications, and we'll be conducting the training on the use of Kayako Desktop, an application that will allow the departments to better manage the communication between students and manage requests as well. So we'll be having two sections to the training. But before we begin, can I see a raise of hand of all those who are able to log in to the desktop application? Or should I say, those who aren't able to log on to the desktop application? Meaning you've downloaded Kayako and you are having issues using the username and password that were sent to you. If you're having issues, just raise your hand and we'll address it as we go on. Okay, so okay, yes, I'm seeing Dorado. Okay, so we'll address it during the training. So Satiana will now begin the introduction of Kayako.
So Kayako is a tool used for, the main purpose is for communicating and documenting work done. So for communicating, we have the live chat support that we use. This feature is somewhat similar to WhatsApp. It allows you to communicate with the students directly. So they send you a message and you're able to respond right there and then. The other aspect or the other feature is the ticketing feature, where it allows you to create, as the name suggests, a ticket or to document the work that was done. So we will go into the live chat aspect of Kayako. So if you open the desktop application, you should be able to follow us as we go along.
So what we'll be doing, we'll be going through the menu option in the live chat. So for everyone should have it downloaded and installed on their machine. So I'm going to ask you to open it up now and we'll begin. I'm going to share my screen so you can follow as we go. Okay, so have the Kayako application. So in order to show you the various features in the live chat, I'm going to simulate a chat. So I'm going to start a chat with Ms. William Hudson. In an active chat, all the features above available to me. So we're going to go through them one by one. Okay, so the first element, Ms. Ferguson will highlight the status.
All right, so your Kayako status, it tells the user whether you are online and available to take chats, whether you are busy, which means that you won't be able to take any chat, whether you're away or on back shortly. So away is it's automatic. Whenever your screen is inactive for say 5 minutes, your Kayako status automatically goes to away. Back shortly is when you tell the computer that you're leaving for a period of time. So you go on back shortly and you won't be able to receive any chat. Busy is when you reach the maximum amount of chats that you can accept. For now, Kayako is set to accept 4 chats. So each agent is only allowed to accept or receive 4 chats. Invisible, they won't be able to see you any at all, so they won't know that you're online. And online, as it suggests, is that you're online and available to take chats.
Okay. Thank you for that, Ms. Ferguson. One other thing, I'm going to ask that those who are sending, well, having issues, please, you can send a message to the MITS user rather than us at the time, because we're currently sharing the screen and it's hard to access the chat. So there's another user called MITS. You can send all the queries and questions to MITS and we'll answer them there. Okay, so we've done the status. Next feature is the canned responses. So Kayako was built to ensure efficiency of your time as well as the customers. So canned responses allow you to save some frequently used responses in the platform, which you can access quickly. So for example, if we go to some of the MITS canned responses, we go to 0, the professional salutation and greeting. Rather than having yourself type out the greeting message every time you have a customer or a client, you can use the canned response, which is a saved message, and it can be used for all customers. So a number of other canned responses, for example, you can have the steps required for a student to apply for a certain program. You can have that canned, which would mean that instead of having to type it out over and over again, for every student that makes that request, you can send them that canned response. It minimizes the amount of errors you may make and reduces the time that taken to send a response.
Is everybody following? So the next icon would be screen share. Screen share allows you to take a snapshot or a screenshot of whatever is on your screen. So say, for example, you're explaining something to a student and they're saying that on their screen, they're not seeing this or they're not seeing what you're saying that they should be able to see. You can select the screen capture option and take a screenshot of whatever is on your screen. Select it. All right, the next option is the push option. This allows you to share documents with the students or the staff member, whoever you're communicating with. It allows you to add the URL or an image or files, PDF, Word, Excel, any type of documents that you want to share with the students. So you can just go to the browser, copy a URL, paste it there, and you'll be able to send it to the student. For example, for this Zoom meeting, and it will send it to the students.
So the next two buttons, they can be used interchangeably. They can be used together. The transfer and the invite feature can be used to collaborate. There's a saying that goes that two heads are better than one. So these features allow you to collaborate. So the university is a big entity. It contains many departments, faculties, units. And students have various requests that may be addressed or better suited for various departments. So say someone from MSBM is on an active chat with a student, and after solving the issue, they ask another question, but you realize that the question is financial related, and thus should be addressed to someone from the bursary. This feature, the transfer or invite, allow you to transfer the chat to someone from the bursary department or invite them onto the chat. So both yourself as well as the agent you've invited or transferred the chat to are able to address the student and thus be able to provide a solution for the student without having to call another office or leave from your office and go to another office. So the student can get all of their answers on one platform. But this is heavily reliant on the number of departments that are currently on the platform. So departments that aren't on the platform, you will still have to rely on using emails or providing the clients with their contact number so they can get in touch with them. So the transfer and invite feature will demonstrate them or will allow you to use them in the activity that we'll have after this. Then the next button is the create ticket. So this feature allows a user to it sends an email to the client with a log of all the chat responses. So it logs the history of the chat that you had with the client and sends them an email. Like when you contact NCB or Scotia, and they said they will send you an email of the dialogue that they had with you. It's a similar feature. However, the feature is there. Your departments can decide on a way to use it. But from my experience, I realize many departments don't use that feature, but it's available and there for you to use. That is the create ticket. So those are the major buttons. The status shows it shows your status of whether you're available to take chats, you're inactive, or you're offline. The canned responses, responses to frequently asked questions can be stored for ease of use. The screen capture, similar to a feature on Microsoft computers called the snipping tool, or the print screen option. It allows you to send the student a screenshot of an item on your screen. The push button allows you to send files, Excel documents, Word documents, PDFs. The transfer and invite allow you to collaborate with other departments. the create ticket allows you to send the student or client a log of the chat that you have with them. So that is the chat the chat aspect of Kaggle in a nutshell. So at this time, we're going to have a little activity which will require some sort of role playing. So we're hoping to divide the participants into two. So half of the team will be they'll be performing the role of a student, and the other half would be the client or the Kaggle agent. Okay. So the participants, I'm going to call some names. I'm going to ask you to, if you're a student, I'm going to ask you to well, for now, just to sign out of the application. You can do this by going to File and Exit, or you can also go change the status to offline. So for the students, I'll call your name shortly. You will sign out of Kaggle Desktop, and we're going to send you to a portal where you can start a chat with an active staff member, who I will give the staff members their roles as well. Okay, so if you hear your name for this section, you'll be a student. So Elijah, Michelle, Sheridan, Shara, Kimberly, Glenville, and Jean-Pierre. So for the names I'll call them again: Elijah, Michelle, Sheridan, Shara, Kimberly, Denville, Jean-Pierre, and Allison. I'm going to ask you, you'll be the students, I'm going to ask that you sign out or go offline on the Kaggle Desktop application. If you didn't hear your name, it means that you'll be a Kaggle agent, so you'll be responding to the chat of the students. So the names are Lisa, Shanique, Lorando, Francesco, JB, and Marion. Okay, so for the students, I'm going to ask you to go to your web browser. I'm going to stop sharing this screen. I'm going to share another screen, the web browser. Okay. So are the students still there? I'm going to ask you to go to the browser and type in this URL. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to copy it and paste it in the chat for everyone to see. Okay. So this is what we call the landing page. On this page, you can simulate a chat as a student to anyone from any department. So I am going to ask you to follow. You're going to, as a student, you're going to click on online live support. It's going to come up with a window asking for you to enter your email, your name, and your question. Is everybody seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a number of departments present in this training. So at the top where you see department, I'm going to ask you to change the department from Mixed Life Support to MSBM, or you. So I'm going to ask Elijah, Michelle, and Sheridan to select MSBM. Cheryl, Kimberly. I'm seeing Econ online. So Kimberly and Glendale, can you select Econ as a department? So I'm only seeing MSBM and Econ and the faculty office. Okay, so Jean-Pierre and Allison, I'm going to ask you to select the faculty office, the social sciences faculty office. Once you've selected the department and you fill out your name, you put in your email, and you put in your question or query, you're going to start a chat. So for the persons who are the agents, Lisa, Shanique, Dorado, Francesca, JB, and Mariam. So depending on what department you were set up in, you should see a notification at the bottom right hand of your screen. This indicates that a student or a client is trying to engage you in a chat. So sometimes when you start a chat as a student, you won't see any text, so you have to maximize the window. Okay, then you're greeted with these messages. It tells you how many persons are ahead of you in the queue, and as soon as someone joins, you'll be notified. Is everybody following? So the students will see this window. The staff members should see a pop-up to their right hand, giving them an option to accept or decline. Okay. Sheridan said that someone responded to his chat. Okay. Sheridan, can you highlight who accepted your chat? Or can the person who responded to Sheridan's chat identify? Okay. Okay, no idea. No idea. Okay, and Sheridan, you had selected Econ? So I believe Nordia maybe Nordia isn't a part of the training, or is she? Okay, so this simple exercise is to simulate what a student sees and what the staff member sees. So if there are any questions, queries, or concerns, was everyone able, were all the students responded to by a staff member? No, just from, okay, MSBM. Okay, and you're also talking to Mary as well. So, Jean-Pierre, you had selected the faculty office. Yeah, but I believe only one person. Uh, okay, so, like, okay, Jean-Pierre. Okay, since no one is responding to you from the faculty office, just for the demonstration, I'm going to ask you to select another department, say MSBM or one of the other departments that is online. So when you go to when you click the online live support button, it will, at the very end of the department, it tells you whether the department is online or offline. So that is important because if the department is offline, it means there's no one available to take your response or your query. If this happens and you urgently need to speak to a department that is offline, what usually happens is a ticket is created. This ticket can then be addressed by a member of that department later on. So let me give you an example. A student has contacted the faculty office at around 9 p.m. trying to get some information about a program that they're doing. 9 p.m. is outside of working hours, so the department should be offline. So we don't expect anyone to be online at 9 p.m. So what happens is the student can still send a request to the faculty office. But what Kafka does is it creates a ticket in the ticket section, which we'll speak to later, outlining the request, and it is available for the faculty office the following day to view the ticket section and respond to that student. So what a response is simply to the student an email. But when you respond in Kaggle, it simply just sends an email to the student, and they can respond and it will be updated in Kaggle. So this is the chat feature in a nutshell. If there are any questions or queries, you can unmute yourself and ask them now. Okay, Sheridan, I'm seeing, yes, you can unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, am I speaking to Jeremy?
I'm not hearing you. It's a bit.
Am I speaking to Jeremy Dean?
Yes, you are.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. All right. The question I wanted to ask, yesterday I was online and I noticed I got a lot of questions from other departments. So I'm wondering, when you're signed in, does it, like I'm from Econ, does it show that I'm from Econ or from like the faculty, the FSS overall? That's what I wanted to know, because I noticed that other students have been asking me questions about other departments, and I had to send them to other departments. Just wanted to ask.
Okay, thank you. So, the way students access it, or the way they should access the live chat feature, is to have most departments have a button, or some departments have a button on their website, similar to the button you saw on the support page that we were using in the demo, and each button is linked to a specific department. It could be a case where persons were on the Econ website and they saw the button and it directed them to you. It could also be that they went to the platform that we went to and they selected Econ. Because what should happen is that the buttons are unique to the department. And as such, the student would be directed to the department. However, for what I'll call it child departments, so the faculty office is the parent, and the Econ, MSBM, SP, SW, government, they're all considered are child departments of the faculty office. And as such, the way the system is set up, the students will by default see the parent. They will also have an option to select, but currently the default for all the child departments of the faculty office comes up as faculty office. So the student is required, if they want to speak directly to someone from Econ, currently they'll have to use the drop-down menu and select Econ. So that's something that we're trying to work out, so that by default they get sent to the department rather than the parent.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I'm seeing a response in the chat from Shara Williams Liu. So yes, if a student is trying to begin or start a chat with someone from a department, and after some time they haven't got a response, a ticket is also, the option to create a ticket is also given, and it will go into the unassigned tickets, meaning it will go into the ticket section and it has no owner. So the following day, each department, either they could have someone assigned, or each person themselves can go through the ticket section and either assign the ticket to themselves or assign to someone else, meaning that they will either take the responsibility to deal with the student's request or pass it on to someone who's more specialized in that feature. So if there are no further questions for the live chat section, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next section, which is the tickets section of Kayako. So for those students who had logged out, I'm going to ask you to sign back in. You're going to open Kayako again, and you're going to go to File, and you're going to change your status to Go Online. Or for now, since we're not training and we don't want students going on the websites and clicking the button and starting chat queue, you can change the status to busy for the training while we go through the second section of Kayako. So by going to File, Accounts, look for your name, and then you select busy. So you should be seeing the icon on the top saying busy. Okay, so like we had stated earlier, Calc has two sections, the live chat and the ticket section. So the ticket section, okay, it looks, so it's, the screen you're seeing shows a list of some tickets from a number of departments. So when you receive tickets, you see a screen similar to this with the various requests from students. If you look at the very top one, very top request, it is unassigned, meaning there's no owner. And an unassigned ticket in the system will not be attended to unless someone attends to it. So we don't want our students to be making requests and having the request sit in the system too long. The request is similar to an email, but what Kaka does is it kind of organizes things a bit better, and similar to how you can collaborate with other departments in the chat feature, this ticketing section allows you to collaborate with your colleagues. I say that to say, you get a request, you're working on the request in the ticket section, so you're responding to the student by replying to their request. However, say you reply to them on Tuesday, on Wednesday you had an emergency and you had to, you're out of office. You still responded, but because you are not in office, you're unable to respond to the student. This feature allows everyone in the department to be able to see tickets or requests in the system and address them. So a coworker may call you and say that a student called saying that they had sent a request and are speaking to you about it. You can check Kayako as a colleague of the coworker who's out of office and follow up. A ticket has a number of features that allows this to be more seamless. So it allows you to add, for example, a note to the ticket. So someone who isn't acquainted with the situation can view or get updates. So the note feature, you have a number of colors you can choose. And once a note is added, it shows up at the top of the ticket. You can put something, for example, student needs to send me a document before I can proceed. So as the person who is following up for your colleague, you can see that note and be able to proceed if it is in your domain or purview to assist the student with that issue. A ticket has a number of other characteristics, and I will show you them individually shortly. Okay, like I was saying, a ticket has a number of features. Just like an email, it has a subject, it has the to field and the CC field. So you can send, just like an email, you can send it to the student or copy it to say their lecturer if it's something that involves their lecturer. A ticket has a department, which is usually linked to your department. department, it has the owner. So we're speaking to unassigned tickets earlier. What you can do is you go into the ticket and assign it to yourself or pass it on to somebody else. That person will then have the responsibility to bring the ticket to completion. So the owner, if it has no owner, like we're saying, it is unassigned. So it has an owner, it has a type, which isn't very crucial. It has the status, which is a life cycle, and I'll explain each element. So I think it can be open, it can be on hold. Open meaning I think it's born or it's created. This is the first stage of the ticket. It is open. Another stage could be the ticket is on hold, meaning, well, like the example I mentioned earlier, a document is required by the student before you can proceed. For some resource, you can change the status of the ticket to on hold. The ticket can also be in progress, meaning that it's currently being actioned or you are currently working on a ticket. Awaiting client reply. You're waiting for, you've sent your response and you're waiting for someone else to respond before you can proceed. And closed, meaning that all parties involved in the issue, maybe just a student, or in the case of a student or lecturer, all parties are satisfied and it can be closed. And this signifies the completion of the request. The final aspect is priority. So this is usually linked to some SLA, service level agreements, set up by the department itself for various types of requests. So low priority are usually linked to requests that aren't affecting the workflow directly, or aren't life or death. So for example, an emergency priority would be something like over by MITS, for example. Number departments use what we call swipe cards, which grant you access to the various buildings. Say a request comes in or an email comes in and it gets logged into Kayako. Someone over by the bursary, there was a power outage and the doors aren't working and people can't get in or get out. That is something that would be classified as an emergency, for example. But these can be determined by the department along with the SLAs involved in the department as well. So those are some of the characteristics of a ticket. Further down is the body or the reply contents. This would show you the request itself, the body of the request. Similar to an email, it will show you the body of the email. So this is a ticket. So we're going to open an active ticket shortly and show you what it looks like. So we're going to go to tickets and manage tickets. So this will show a list of all the tickets for your department that are active. So let's look for a ticket that isn't too sensitive that we can use to demonstrate. Okay, so here we have a Miss Sade Pamo. The subject of our request is online payment. The body is, I'm having trouble registering my card online. All my information is correct, but it just won't register. the ticket is currently unassigned, and thus it needs to have an owner for it to be addressed. So once it's assigned to someone and the issue is resolved, the ticket can then be closed, and the closure of the ticket notifies the Miss Palmer that it has been done. So any change in either opening or closing ticket will send an email to the client. Are there any questions, queries, concerns? Okay. So similar to how we had done an activity at the end of the live chat feature, we'll be having a short exercise that will be using the ticket feature of Kaggle. So I'm going to ask each person to click on the help desk icon and click on tickets. So by doing that, it will bring you to the ticket section of Kaggle. So what I'm going to do, well, I'm going to ask you, you're going to log a ticket to yourself as yourself. So for example, you're going to click new ticket, and I'm going to select MSBM tickets. So you see all the features. So you have a subject. Just think of a subject. Yes, let's use test dash Kayako training. So because this is a live platform that we're using, we don't want, we may want to remove these tickets afterwards, but so you can use the subject, everyone use the subject test Kayako training. With two, you can put your email. And then the reply, you can assign it to yourself or a member of your team. You can change the priority. And then type in the contents of the ticket. Once you've done this, just like an email, I'm going to ask you to click send. Next, I'm going to ask you to go to your email just to see what the ticket looks like in the email. So if I pull up this email, this is the general structure of a ticket. It has the contents as well as the ticket ID, the department, the type, the status, and priority. So when you log a ticket on behalf of a student or respond to a ticket, this information is available in the email as well. Is everybody seeing the ticket in their email? The ticket ID is a very useful piece of information. It can be used by you as a student to follow up on the ticket, as well as it can be used by the student if in the case that it's the staff member they were talking to is out of office on leave sabbatical, and you as a staff member from the same department is there and you're there to help the student with the request in the absence of your colleague. So the student sees this information, and if the ticket is blogged in Kaggle, if you're speaking to the student, you can ask him for that information so you can follow up on the issue. Okay, so this is the ticketing feature. Any questions, comments, queries? The floor is now open for any question at all. So someone is having an issue creating that account. So I'm going to run through that one more time, but right after that, we're available for any questions or comments. So in Kaggle, to check if you're getting an error message when you're trying to sign on, what you do is you go to File, you go to Settings, and you go to Accounts. You just see your name, then you can edit it. Ensure that the ID number, password, or the URL is correct. The URL is https:// So if you get an error message about an SSL, usually that's because the S is missing from the HTTPS when you're setting up your account. Other errors such as incorrect username or password would mean that either the password was entered incorrectly, or if you've forgotten it, you can notify one of the members of the team, myself or Ms. Ferguson, or you may send an email to the applications email, which I'll put in the chat shortly, and we can have your Kaggle password reset. So now the floor is open for any questions from any area of the training. You may unmute your mic and ask the questions whenever you're ready.
Hi, this is Jean-Pierre. I have a quick question, perhaps not directly related to the training.
Okay, go ahead, Jean-Pierre.
The question is, so currently on mine, it has a pop-up notification each time a staff member logs in and there's a chime. Is there some way to adjust that? Because that
Okay,
will be.
perfect. Yes, that was something we're supposed to highlight. Okay, so that's a notification built into Kaggle. It shows you when every staff member either goes online or offline. For some persons, it becomes a bit annoying, and others don't mind it. But I will show you how to disable it now.
Right, thank you.
So in Kaggle, you go to File, you go to Settings, and in the settings on the settings page, you will see a menu with a number of options. I'm going to ask to select alerts. And if you look to the right side of that, you should see staff alerts. What you can do is unselect it and click apply and click OK. So ensure that it's not selected. I'm going to leave mine selected. But if you want to remove, well, disable the pop-up for staff members coming online or offline, you simply unselect this, apply, and click OK. Any other questions?
Yes, hi. On the same question with these alerts, what are phone alerts, message alerts, custom alerts, all of that?
So the chat alerts are something you need to leave selected. These show you when students want to chat, though the message alerts similarly, as well as the custom alerts. The phone alerts, however, are linked to a feature which isn't currently enabled in the Kaggle that we have. The whole purpose, well, the team that built Kaggle, they had also incorporated a phone aspect, meaning persons could contact you via phone through the platform. However, we don't have this feature enabled. So
Okay.
it being selected or not selected will not affect it because that feature is not available.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so if there are no further questions, I believe we can bring this to a close. On behalf of myself and Tatiana Ferguson, I'd like to thank you for coming. I know most of the questions may come up when you're using it later on. So if you do have questions, I'll put my email as well as the Mint Applications email. I'll respond via the email that was sent with the Zoom link, so everyone can access it. My email as well as the Mint Applications email. For any questions that should arise later on. So again, I want to thank you for coming and do enjoy the rest of your day.
Sorry, just a quick one before you leave, Jean-Pierre, again. I missed about 5 minutes or so at the start. Will you be sharing the recording with us?
The recording, yes, I believe Miss Sherman Howell is, well, the faculty office is the host of the meeting.
Uh-huh.
And the recording should be on that machine.
Okay.
So measures can be put in place to have it shared.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you again for coming.